Boom, boom, boom. Let everybody get into the room here for just a second. Boom, and away we go. Broncos country. It's Wednesday night, which means it's time for another edition of MHI, where we have a whole lot of Broncos news to get to. What a fast and furious week for your 8-2 Denver Broncos, who are officially hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Do the playoffs start in Denver this weekend? We're going to answer that question and more in this show. But before we do that, who are we? We are MHI. I'm one half of MHI. Yours truly, Luke Patterson. Join with me as always, Thomas Hall. Tom, I know you're just giddy to get after some Broncos Raiders Thursday night football 10-7 leftovers. How we doing?
Doing well. Yeah. I mean, I was more interested in getting into it right after the game, but I've lost a lot of interest since then.
We don't want to talk about it. It's over. It's dead. No, we got to talk about it, because if the Broncos think that they can score 10 points against Kansas City, and that's going to be good enough here in Denver, Colorado, that enough mile-high magic can be mustered against Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and the referees, I don't think so. We're going to take you through that. Yeah. My keys to victory coming out tomorrow. Tom's got a piece coming out any moment at milehighhuddle.com. We have a huge show, but no, Tom, what a dud. I felt like I just got up here on MHI last week and lied to everybody. I said in this microphone that the Denver Broncos were going to have a statement game where all of the national media would take notice. Well, that game definitely made a statement, and everybody took notice for all the wrong reasons. More penalties than first downs for both teams, Tom. It was ugly. Yeah. We got to put this thing to bed. Thursday night football, can't stand it.
Well, I said it was going to be a lot closer than people thought. I thought it was going to be it's a rivalry game. I don't care that the Raiders are bad. They're going to make a game of it. I didn't know it was going to be ugly, and that's what that game was. It was ugly. The preparation was terrible, although the defense, somehow they had better preparation than the offense. But yeah, it was an ugly game, but I figured the Raiders would make a game of it. They have nothing else to play for except to beat their one of their most hated rivals. So it was, and to come away with a win, don't get me wrong, that's the important thing. They came away with a win. I don't care if it's ugly or not. That's what they need to do on a Thursday night when most of the time teams aren't ready to play well because they have a short week. It's a terrible time to play, and that's what happens.
Well, listen, you roll out a performance like that on Thursday night football in front of the whole country, in front of the whole NFL. You don't have a good taste in your mouth. That's why the Broncos are making some roster moves this week, a whole flurry of them. We're going to get into those and more. But before we do, let's say what's up to some of our friends and Super Chat superstars in the MHH stream. There's David. What's up, David? Good evening, Broncos country. Hashtag 13-4. Man, David, I don't know. 4 losses. The Broncos currently have 2. Do you have the Kansas City Chiefs as one of those losses? Do we split with the Chiefs this year? Can we sweep them? That certainly would be nice. It feels good to have the Chiefs' consecutive win streak off of the Broncos back. Yep. But surely, man, this is a playoff game for me this Sunday, guys. I know you can't win them all, but this could truly be a moment in time where the Broncos separate themselves from the rest of the AFC West. Those damn Los Angeles Chargers, Tom, they're nipping at the heels still, just one game back from the Broncos. And as you know, the last time the Broncos lost a football game was way back when in week 3 in LA against those same Chargers. So with a victory against the Chiefs, we're able to get some momentum in the division.
Well, what I would say is it's not necessarily a playoff game, but it is the battle for the AFC West title. If the Broncos lose this, then it becomes a lot more muddled. But if they were able to win this, it would put that proverbial last nail in the Chiefs' coffin about winning the AFC West. I don't think they have a chance. It's between the Chargers and the Broncos. And on top of it, it'll show that the Broncos are legit, because there are some legitimate questions. And that's one of the articles that I have coming out. There are some legitimate questions about whether this team is significantly better than they were last year when you dig into some of the things that I dig into in that article.
Well, and that's why you got to go out and get guys that you used to have who are no longer here and save them. It's the saving or the season of Thanksgiving, the season of holidays, if you will. Well, Lil Jordan Humphrey should be very thankful he is no longer a New York Giant. That hot garbage mess is over. Lil Jordan Humphrey officially inked a deal today to the Denver Broncos. He's likely to play Sunday, officially on the 53-man roster, no longer a New York Giant practice squad member, which brings in our guy Flying Anger Pig. I absolutely love the handle. $5 an exclusive member, MHH member, that is, over on YouTube. Humphrey and Bryant for the screen game, it seems. Even when we disagree on Bo, much love, respect for you guys. Everyone become a member. I got something for you, Anger Pig. I got something cooking up for you at milehighhuddle.com tomorrow. One of my keys to victory. I've got the fix for Bo Nix and Sean Payton. It's very, very simple. It's not just run the ball. It's not just throw quick slants. You can read about it tomorrow on milehighhuddle.com. We'll tease it just a little bit. Everyone loves a tease. Just a little bit of a tease tonight. But no, we can't see these same screen games, Tom. You've been on this for weeks along with the rest of Broncos country. The offense isn't only inefficient and boring, they're very predictable.
Yeah, I think they're predictable. We talked about that. But the other thing that I think about the screen game too is not only predictable, it's not executed well. And I think little Jordan Humphrey, that's part of the reason why they brought it back. Because if you watch that, there's oftentimes that the defender splits those blockers and gets into the backfield, basically, so to speak, on those screens to get to make a tackle for a loss. And if they were able to block better, I think they would have a better opportunity to execute those screens well. And I've noticed that a lot. So maybe little Jordan Humphrey, maybe you're right. Angry Pig or what? I forgot what Anger Pig. Maybe you're right on that. Maybe that's part to help have Bryant and Humphrey out there who are better blockers. Hopefully the execution, while still predictable, would actually be better. And then maybe you would see some more positive yards as opposed to negative yards on some of those screen passes.
Well, Broncos country is trying to figure out what the hell the move means. Tom, I was asking you about it before the show even started. I'm like, okay, so they signed little Jordan Humphrey, and we'll get into what he did as a Bronco, but Broncos country is trying to figure out too, is this going to provide a boost? And our good friend Shannon Mills, wow, a very generous $19.99 over on YouTube. Thank you very much, Shannon. Good evening. Do you think that bringing Lil Jordan Humphrey back into the lineup, along with getting Marvin Mims back, will boost the offense significantly? Well, it's interesting, Shannon, when you look at this, because Tom pointed out to me, he's like, man, your guy, Trent Sherfield, everybody loves Trent Sherfield. He didn't practice with a toe today. Does that mean Lil Jordan Humphrey's automatically elevated? We're trying to get a little bit more of a physical receiver into the room. Pat Bryant, physical receiver, rookie. Cortland Sutton, physical receiver. Teams are planning to shut him out. What does that leave you with if you're a Broncos passing coordinator? That leaves you with one, Troy Franklin, who's doing quite well, but he cannot shoulder the load for this Broncos offense. Marvin Mims. Are Marvin Mims and Bo Nix finally going to find that deep ball, Shannon? That's what we're wondering, and we keep waiting. I'd be fine if he could find him on a short to intermediate route at this point. Yes, this does provide a boost. Spagnuolo and the Chiefs defense, they're no cupcake anymore. Years ago, it used to just be that Pat Mahomes and the offense drug the defense along. That's not the case. This Kansas City Chiefs defense is smart, they're intelligent, and they're disciplined. They can make plays. However, the Broncos are getting some much added firepower, and you can't get any better than getting some speed back on the field with Marvin Mims. Doesn't get any better than getting some experience back with Lil Jordan Humphrey. Lil Jordan Humphrey, as a Bronco, we're looking at 44 receptions, 445 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns, and 34 appearances. Is he going to set anybody's fantasy football team on fire? No. Can he contribute to this struggling offense immediately? Yes.
Well, I think getting Mims back will be a big boost. I think that missing Mims was a big part of that lousy offensive performance because he has a lot of value, Shannon. And I think that bringing him back is going to, I don't think little Jordan Humphrey is going to make a huge impact on the offensive performance, but I think he'll be better at some of the little things that some of these other people aren't. I mean, right now the Broncos lack discipline. They lack the mental side of the game, which is tough to say after 10 games. They're still failing in that, especially when, everyone told me that Coach Payton comes from the Bill Parcells line. They're going to be disciplined, and I have not seen that this year at all. So I'm hoping that he'll do the little things that need to be done that you don't see on the stat sheet that does improve other aspects of this offense. Like I said, hopefully the screen game will be better executed.
And we got to talk about sustainability when it comes to penalties and an inefficient offense, Tom, because this does feel like some Mile High magic is at work amid this 7-game win streak. Gene William coming in on Facebook. We appreciate all of our listeners and all our supporters wherever you're watching, whether that's on YouTube, Twitch, X, Facebook. We got you covered. What's up, man? It's great to see you on this beautiful night. Can't wait to see what McLaughlin can do. What McLaughlin can do on Sunday. Bo has been missing his safety valve, and it shows. When our offense puts up numbers, I'll make sure to rub it in people's faces. Real deal, Jaleel? Are we going to see Jaleel McLaughlin on Sunday, Tom?
I think we are. I think with J.K. Dobbins' injury, I think we're going to see McLaughlin come out there. It's going to be a couple little guys backing up the rookie is what I'm going to have to say. Unless for some reason they're like, yeah, we don't really want McLaughlin. We're going to bring Deuce Vaughn up from the practice squad or something, which I doubt it. But yeah, you're going to see Bidet and McLaughlin out there. I think because Dobbins is going to miss multiple weeks from what I understand. I mean, they haven't actually come out and said that. They haven't put him on IR or anything. They haven't really said anything about his injury. It's all speculation, but from what you're seeing, he's probably not going to be out there this week.
No, we don't want to talk about IR if we're with the Denver Broncos. We want to ignore it and try to get past the bye, right? Sound familiar with Pat Surtain? We're going to get into the J.K. Dobbins injury and more, but, the Broncos are getting some gifts in new players, specifically a new Broncos offensive tackle from Dallas, a former wide receiver that Sean Payton's connected with. It is the season of gifts. And speaking of gifts, if you're still figuring out gifts, House of Atlas, well, it's a no-brainer. Perfect for your brother, your roommate, or even yourself when someone asks what you want and you don't feel like thinking. Their grooming kits make it simple to clean up, and they actually look as good on the counter as they feel in your hand. The razor's weighted handle and precision trim edge make it effortless to get a smooth, clean shave every single time. Something most razors, well, they just don't do. The best part, you can grab them at Target stores nationwide or online at target.com so you don't have to overthink it.
That's right, guys. Atlas is redefining men's grooming with premium tools and products designed to look good, feel good, and actually perform. I love the razor because it feels solid in your hand. It's not flimsy like disposable razors, and the precision trim edge makes detailing under the nose, sideburns, and edges simple and precise. Beyond the shave cream and aftershave elevate the routine with their refreshing and subtle signature scent, making grooming feel more like self-care than a chore.
Guys, don't stress over last-minute gifts or settle for shaving products that just never deliver. This holiday season, give yourself or someone on your list the upgrade that they deserve with the House of Atlas. Grab it at Target stores nationwide or online at target.com. Boom! Housekeeping officially out of the way as we get ready for the Kansas City Chiefs, who are coming to the Denver Broncos house in Power Field, Mile High Magic. Then why the hell are the Broncos listed as 3.5-point home underdogs? I'm reading Chad's article up at milehighhuddle.com. No respect. And I guess that's what happens when you put out a offense 10-7 versus the Raiders on primetime football. David Yonkin, good friend of the show, weighing in. The score will be 10-7 Broncos win. Just to piss the media off again. Hey, you know what? I don't care how it's done. And I heard Bo talking about this, David. Maybe y'all did too today. He's like, look, man, we're finding ways to win games. Does he look satisfied? Does he look happy? No. But he looks grateful to be on a team that's amid a win streak, even though things aren't going their way. What, the team that's punted the most in the NFL, I think I saw that on social media, has been the Denver Broncos. One of the most penalized teams in the NFL, the Denver Broncos. One of the least efficient passing attacks in the NFL, the Denver Broncos. And yet, here we sit, 8-2, 2 weeks into November, where the Broncos have a 92% chance to get into the playoffs. Why do I not feel comfortable, Tom, with that as we sit here? I'm nervous about it because if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, this is when you turn it on. I get it. They started 0-2 this season. They're 1-3 in road games. They lost 28-21 to the Bills in week 9. But remember, Kansas City had a bye last week. They've been sitting and stewing the last 2 weeks just waiting for this Denver Broncos game.
Well, I'll tell you why people aren't for some reason, aren't buying the Broncos. And I'll tell you why they should be. But first of all, if you look at last year, they went 5-5 through 10 weeks, and they played 6 teams that finished the season with a winning record. This year, they're 8-2, but they've only played 3 teams with a winning record, or who will probably finish the season with a winning record. Maybe Houston sneaks in there, but right now it looks like 3, and they're 1-2. So the Broncos have to start beating quality teams consistently to show that they're actually more likely to go into the playoffs, deeper into the playoffs than they did last year, because this is the schedule now. They have 5 of the last 7 are teams with winning records. So they have to go out there. If they go out there and play like they did, against winning teams last season, they're going to be losing out on the AFC West division title. So they need to go 3 or 4-3 or better. But why people should be buying into this Denver Broncos team. And they say it all the time. Analysts and fans are always talking about defense wins championships and blah, blah, blah. It's not true, but that's what they say. And then they're forgetting that this defense is immaculate. I mean, their pass rush is insane. They're better against the run than they were last year. And they're actually better against the pass than they were last year too, probably because of that pass rush. But they were doing it even with Pat Surtain being missing. So that's why people should be buying the Denver Broncos instead of saying they're done because they couldn't score very much on Thursday Night Football.
Well, hey, you're exactly right, Tom. And I know whenever a defense is tasked with defending Patrick Mahomes, it comes down to one simple question: to blitz or not to blitz? Well, I take you through it. One of my keys to victory at milehighhuddle.com. And I'm going to spill a little key right now. The Denver Broncos do not need to blitz against Patrick Mahomes. They have the 4 horsemen on that defensive line who are absolutely nasty and getting after it. I don't think people realize truly how good this defense is, Tom. Everybody's honed in to Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper, and they should be. They're the most vicious pass rush duo in all of the NFL. 17 sacks between Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper. What's not being talked about? Those 4 horsemen I'm mentioning: Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, DJ Jones. 3, rather, not 4. 11.5 sacks between just those 3 defensive linemen. The D-line is disciplined. They're staying after it. They're stuffing the run. They're getting penetration. And when I look at this Kansas City Chiefs offensive line, it's for the taking, especially on the left side. I hear you. Creed Humphrey, very good center. But the left guard and the left tackle, what? You're going to deal with a rookie left tackle against Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper? That you want to go that route? Do you want to have a second-year offensive guard who is struggling against multiple pressures for Pat Mahomes? I mean, this is a vulnerable Kansas City Chiefs offensive line that can absolutely just be hammered with left tackle Josh Simmons as a rookie. A second-year left guard, I'm not buying it. I'm really not. Pat Mahomes has been sacked 17 times this season on 77 total pressures. That's not with the blitz, guys. That's not with the blitz. So it's time to get after Pat Mahomes. Earn your money. Gene William coming in saying, look, guys, I don't see us losing another game this season. What? We're the best, and we will stand on it. Mean Gene calling his shot. No more losses for the Denver Broncos this year. Gene says we're going to run the table, Tom. How are we feeling?
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen, but that would be great if it did. That would make more of a statement than anything. I think it's going to be tough to do it because there are some quality teams coming up. What the Broncos really need to do, though, they have to split with the Chiefs. They have to beat the Chargers, and they've got to sweep the Raiders. If they do that, the division, I believe, is theirs. I know that there's other games in there, and they've got to win here and there, but I think if they can do that and win the games that they should, you'll see that this AFC West division is back in the Mile High City for a change.
I tried telling you, Tom. I tried telling you the AFC West is going to be competitive. I wasn't buying into the Raiders and Pete Carroll and that whole mess, but I'm not sleeping on the Chiefs. I think a lot of people are. They're playing much better, but don't let that 0-2 start fool you. Remember, the Broncos didn't start particularly well either, and yet here they are. Here they remain. But here's the thing: when I just step back and I look at this, and I listened to Bo speak today, I listened to Sean, listened to the guys, right? And how about thoughts and prayers for Alex Singleton? What a miraculous story of courage and to reveal something so personal. Testicular cancer for the team captain, finds that out. undergo surgery after playing on Thursday Night Football, man. I mean, can't give enough kudos and respect for Alex to share his story. Early detection truly saves lives. I want to get that in there too, because a very human felt story for so many people that don't want to go to the doctor, that don't want to look at things, right? I'm guilty. I can't stand the dentist, Tom, but it's so important. You got to go, right? You got to take care of yourself. It's just, I had to say it, man. The reason I say that and I go there, this team has character, I think, right? This team has character. I don't think this team scares easily. I don't think this football team spooks easily. I think this defense is willing to show up and fight at any day, anytime, any place. Now, the offense, I'm not so sure how much we're fighters and how much we're confused and not sure what we're doing. I think the courage is there. I think the moxie, the heart, the talent. This offense can be special. We see it. We're seeing glimpses. It's just not hooking up yet, Tom. So it's making people confused.
Well, and when you talked about character, what's interesting is the offense is struggling, but you're not seeing anyone out there bad mouthing the offense or the play calls or anything. You watch AJ Brown with the Eagles doesn't get enough touches, and he's out there complaining about it, even though that team is winning. They're I think the number one seed in the NFC. If not, they're pretty close to it. And he's going out and complaining because he's not getting enough touches. That to me is indicative of character. And for all of the crap I give Sean Payton about, mental side of this game, he has got this locker room buying into this team. There's nobody out there that's going, oh, I should be getting more throws to my way, or, we need to be changing these plays. No one's saying that. They're all saying, yes, we got to get better, but they're saying it as a team, as a whole. They're not.
We're getting close. We're getting close. J.K. Dobbins was certainly upset, right?
Yeah,
but you're
a little
right,
bit.
He didn't make it about him, though. That's the difference, right? He's like, it's not that I'm not getting the ball enough. It's like J.K. Dobbins is sitting there pretty much apologizing to the defense publicly, saying,
right,
look, boys, this ain't gonna work, and we realize it's not gonna work, and y'all are carrying the water, and it's got to stop soon. So to your point, a little bit different of characters. And J.K. Dobbins, what does that toe injury or that foot injury look like? Did not practice today. We'll get into the practice report here in just a little bit. But speaking of friends, here's a friend we haven't seen in a little bit, Casey Nickel. What's up, Casey? Hopefully you and yours are doing well. Very generous $9.99 over on YouTube, an exclusive MHH member, bro. Bo Nix is going to show up. I believe, and we all need to believe in him. There's too much emotion surrounding this game between Singleton and the insane negative national media. 32-26 Broncos. That's an interesting score, how you get there, Casey. 32. That's a number I normally don't see. I may steal that for my Mile High Roundtable pick on Friday morning. There is a lot of emotion in this. It's an emotional game, and that's probably one of the funnest aspects of sports. Doesn't matter the sport. It's natural and authentic drama. Yeah, sometimes you get some bulletin board material in there, but each game truly takes on its own personality. Each game truly has its own life and energy, if you will. I can't wait to see what this year's version of Broncos Chiefs look like, because we've been getting better each year when it comes to how are the Broncos ultimately going to stack up to daddy. Who's daddy? The Kansas City Chiefs. You know why they're daddy? Because they've won AFC West 9 years in a row. How do we top that dog? Starts on Sunday. You punch them in the mouth. You tell them you're not intimidated, and you're going to run it. And that's just how this team has to go. I think a more interesting aspect, and maybe Sean's not getting enough credit for this because he's taken a lot of strays, right? Sean, he's got his fingerprints all over this offense. How does Sean continue to keep this offense together? I mean, coach can't go in and chew him out every single week. He's the one calling the plays. So I think that's kind of a delicate task in and of itself.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. For all the frustration that game on Thursday night was with Bo Nix and his inability to kind of get that team into the end zone and really run it efficiently, a friend of mine pointed out Bo Nix thrives on preparation, and he didn't get a chance to really prepare. It was a short week, and I don't think he thrives under those circumstances. So now he's got more time. He got a short kind of what they call a mini bye in there. Maybe his preparation is going to be much better this week, and you'll see a more crisp Bo Nix, more efficient offense going against a defense that, it's okay, but it's not the, a great defense. And So maybe you'll see a lot better offense against the Chiefs at home than you did Thursday night.
Well, that's interesting because you didn't see any good offense last night either. 2 weeks in a row, right? It's got last night, Philadelphia Eagles 10-7. What? I don't think a point was scored until the second half. Is that right? Something like that.
Yeah, it was rough.
I had other stuff going on in my life. I'm like, I'm gonna go check in with my Broncos and do a little film study. Here's the thing, man. And David Yonkin coming in here with a good question. Thank you, David, an exclusive member of the MHH community, very active on MHI. And David, we really appreciate it. You're very generous. Is Brad Allen going to ref? I don't care who's going to ref. I pulled it up just because you asked, David, and you're a friend. It looks like Adrian Hill is going to be the head guy for whatever that's worth. But I wrote about this in one of my keys to victory. I mean, you just can't continue the sinful penalties and then fight the Chiefs' favoritism angle at the same time. You need to pick one of those to knock it off. And I take you through the penalties, what we're looking at, what's avoidable. That's coming out tomorrow at milehighhuddle.com. But if this team thinks that they're going to get any favorable calls, you're wrong. And Sean Payton needs to prepare them for that. When Bo Nix gets slammed to the turf on Sunday, and I hope it doesn't happen that much, but when Bo Nix gets slammed to the turf on Sunday by Karlaftis or Chris Jones, you name Bolton, you name the defender, he's not going to get the same call that Pat Mahomes is going to get when Big Cat Zach Allen's slinging him around, when Nick Cooper's taking off his helmet or Jonathan Cooper's taking off his helmet. It's not going to happen. So accept it now. Be disciplined now. You can't fight both the referees and your self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah, and there's two things that the Broncos can do the rest of the season, and one of them is firmly in their control. But two things they can do that will help them get those victories down the stretch, and that you hit it up. Penalties. They have got to fix the penalties, and they can, because some of them are mental penalties that they just delay a games, false starts, stuff that they at home that they shouldn't be doing. They fix that. That's going to help their offense, because many times this season, I've seen drives that look like they were going to go somewhere stalled because of a dumb penalty. And that's something that they can fix. The other one is the defense needs to get more takeaways. They've got to give the offense more chances to score points. Now, that's a little easier said than done because you're going against an offense, but the penalties can be fixed. And that comes with mental preparation and, being ready for the crowd or being ready for the opponent, whatever it may be, but mental preparation will help with that.
When we've looked at the depth of this defense, and that's another aspect that makes this unit so special when you look at it, Tom. I'm looking at the injury report today, and Jonathan Cooper was on it with a thumb. He was a full participant. Welcome back, Marvin Mims. I know I'm talking about defense, right? But let's just go through the practice report real quick. Welcome back, Marvin Mims. Concussion, listed as a full participant today. Garrett Wallow, linebacker, hamstring, full. And then these are our guys that did not practice. Surprise, surprise. Nate Atkins, Pat Surtain, we knew about those two. Alex Singleton obviously is on the list with an illness. He's going to recover. He's going to be back very, very soon. But Trent Sherfield, wide receiver with a toe, maybe that eludes some of the or points out rather some of the Jordan Humphrey transactional favoritism from Sean Payton, if you will. Jonah Ellis did pop up with a hamstring, did not practice, and our guy J.K. Dobbins with the foot, running back. That's going to be tough because you gotta grow up quick if you're a young running back in this league. And of course, I'm talking about R.J. Harvey, who we are speculating is going to make his very first start at running back. The nice thing about R.J. Harvey, he's been used in so many different ways. And I really like that because I don't know that we've seen what RJ Harvey, the runner, truly looks like yet, Tom. He's been used more as a receiver. He's one of the most dynamic receivers, dare I say, in the Broncos passing attack, even on short passes, making guys miss, getting in open space. I can't wait to see what this young running back is going to do because there's not a lot of film on him when it comes to the NFL, what it looks like. Bo talked about it today. You lean on what this guy did in college, and what'd he do? He ran north and south. There's not a lot of east-west running when it comes to J.K. Dobbins, which is surprising, right, when you look at his size. But, hell, there's a reason they call him Quadzilla. He's running with tree trunks, Tom.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to carry the load, and, man, he's going to have to step up big time because J.K. Dobbins has been – most of us were surprised at how well he's run. So it's a big shoes to fill, but he needs to do it. I mean, that he's going to be called upon to carry the load, and we're going to see what this rookie is capable of. And we all worried that J.K. Dobbins was going to get injured at some point this season, and here he is injured. So that's why they drafted R.J. Harvey, to carry the load and he needs to step up.
And Sean loves playing young guys. He made that very clear last season. He doubled down on it this year. I want to see more Pat Bryant. And speaking of Pat Bryant, our guy Phil McLaughlin, our very good friend Phil McLaughlin, Facebook stars. Again, thank you, Phil. Another huge contributor week in and week out, man. We really appreciate your generosity here on Wednesday night. Good evening, Tom, Luke, and Deacon Scott. I really think that Pat Bryant and Marvin Mims will make a big difference in this game. I would love to see a blowout for Denver, but the critics would still find a way to explain that we were lucky. No respect. Tom, I don't know about you. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older. I'm starting to settle down. I'm not so ornery on a daily basis. I don't really get upset with the national media taking shots at the Broncos. You know why? Because we take shots at the Broncos on this show. We call it like we see it. We're not happy with this offense. Now, you've been a little ornerier than I have this year, saying you're all out on Sean Payton. And, you know, I'm even trying to talk my dad off the ledge last week. He's like, they need to put Jarrett Stidham in. I'm like, come on. Yeah. No, they don't need to put Jarrett. I know we're all mad and we're all upset. We're all entitled to a little overreaction. But no, I see that's where I just get like, overreaction. We're very frustrated. And it happens to all of us, right? We all have that little outburst. Jarrett Stidham will not be playing ever as long as Bo Nix is healthy and capable to run this offense, which I think he is. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because he went to Oregon. I don't know if it's how things ended in Auburn. It's just interesting for me because Bo was never one of my top guys, Tom. I don't think he was one of your top guys. We're very public about that on that show. But when he was drafted, we hopped on the bandwagon. Now, it didn't mean that we thought he was going to be the guy. We waited on a weekly basis and we argued and debated. But towards the end of the season, and you ultimately surmise what they accomplished, you're like, okay, looks like a franchise quarterback. I don't get the Bo Nix hate from people. I don't know if it's because he doesn't give interviews very, very well. He's not like overly in your face. I've only seen him on a few commercials. He's very private. What's with the Bo Nix hate nationally, man? I don't get it. I mean, he's playing not great. He's playing inefficient, boring football on this offense, but so's every other guy. He's the quarterback, so he should take a lot of the heat. Talk to me from an outside perspective, Tom, if you can. You're usually pretty fair and level-headed. Why do people just love to rail on Bo Nix?
Yeah. Well, a lot of them didn't like the pick. You know, they try to be experts in, you know, these folks that like to sit at the desk and, you know, do their drafts, and, you know, they don't get in any trouble for it when they're wrong. But when they are wrong, they hate it, apparently, because a lot of them were dead set that Bo Nix was a terrible pick. Sean Payton's an idiot. They were going on and on about it. And the fact that Bo Nix hasn't really silenced them, they're still able to say it because he hasn't improved dramatically from last year. He hasn't had those, you know, several big games where people are like, whoa, he looks like the guy. So they can keep chirping, you know, and for me, I don't really care. But I guess it bothers me is because they haven't had an opportunity to kind of look at it from a different perspective. That bothers me. But whether or not they're saying anything about Bo Nix and the Broncos, I don't care. As long as the Broncos are winning, they're going to have to eat their words. So that's to me, it's like I don't care what they're saying, but they have their reasons, whether it's right or wrong. I think that's to be proven.
I think no matter who the quarterback was going to be, that was going to be the feeling from the national media. Why do I say that? Look who the head coach is. It's Sean Payton. You're looking at a head coach that is stubborn, arrogant, and doesn't want to change. And when he does well, he wants to rub your face in it. And when he doesn't do well, he struggles sometimes taking that accountability. And I'm so sick of the word balance. I'm so sick of it. I am so sick of Sean coming up saying, I've got to find better balance. Week 11, Sean. When are we thinking about finding better balance? Because we're all over the board, baby, and I can't have it. Sean tried fleecing everybody and saying we tricked everybody into drafting quarterbacks that we never wanted, and Bo was there, and ha, ha, ha. That's why you're getting this, because Sean outsmarted everybody. He told us so. And then you go out there and put up 10 points on Thursday Night Football against the Raiders, who are being dismantled as we speak. That's why. It's the same reason that Sean made national headlines for taking shots at Nathaniel Hackett, and Aaron Rodgers cried and got all upset. Look who was right about that, right? I mean, Aaron Rodgers no longer a Jet, Nathaniel Hackett no longer a head coach. So coach loves to sling it, and that's what I like about him. He's unapologetically himself. But I think this team ultimately takes on the personality of their head coach, and their head coach is not intimidated easily. He doesn't like to admit when he's wrong, and he's in the trenches with his guys. Take that for what you will. Lawrence Rivera, Tea Time with Larry. What's up, our guy Larry, man? Good friend of the show for many, many years. Hopefully you and yours are doing well. Very generous $5 over on YouTube. What's up, guys? It's common. We all know how I feel about Bo. I've come around just a little, but in the end, it's still Bo. Tea time. Yeah, Sean was asked about this today, Larry. It was kind of interesting because he's like, is this, can you make things easier for Bo Nix? He says, quote, I think it's not Bo. I mean, I think it's part of the whole process offensively and constantly in our game planning this week. So translation, it's not Bo, it's my bleep offense. Well, who's running that offense? I see so many folks, and it doesn't take a rocket science to see what we're seeing here in these games. I mean, you're seeing an offense that can run a 2-minute drill and a no huddle and go down and be the fourth quarter comeback kings, but you can't stick to a basic script or have any sort of efficiency in the first half. It doesn't make sense. It's almost like they need to get whipped up on a little bit. Maybe Sean needs to yell at them before the game because they all go in and get screamed at and the adjustments are made at halftime. Maybe we just need to skip that and start screaming at them at the beginning of the game. Maybe we need to have Peyton Manning talk to the scoreboard operator. There's a good relationship there. And let's just give the Chiefs some points. Because it feels like this team, the offense specifically, they wait to turn it on. They cannot wait against the Kansas City Chiefs. They will beat the brakes off of you, embarrass you, and that home winning streak that you've got, being undefeated in 2025, it's going to go away unless you start hot and fast against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, and I'll say that I think last week the Raiders had a good defensive game plan. They actually played pretty well. Their defense played very, very well. So you can't put it all on the offense. I mean, it was surprising how well the Raiders played. But again, it goes back to these little things, these mental errors, these small execution errors that constantly are plaguing this Broncos offense. And they say it all the time. This is a game of inches. And even though this is a era of explosive offenses, and everything, it still is a game of inches. A pass that's a little bit off or a little bit more on than off, or that block gets made that just was missed the last time, that changes the momentum. Or you don't jump too early and get a false start. That kind of stuff keeps those drives going. And that's really where I think that the Broncos, it's not they need to get a new quarterback. It's not they got to get a new offensive scheme. They have to take care of the mental side of this game, be more efficient, execute better, no penalties, and you're going to see a more efficient offense. Now that has to happen this weekend because, like you said, Kansas City's not going to sit around and not score any points. This has got to happen this Sunday in order to, if they want to win the AFC West, that has to happen this Sunday.
Well, and the Broncos got a mini bye, right? They're coming off of that. They should be well rested. And we could talk about some of that. I know a lot of the not the coaching staff, but the front office staff, they got to spend some time with the series Elway, right? The Netflix series. I haven't got to see it yet, but I saw some executives fly out and they're at the premiere there. So we can get into that a little bit. I saw Aqib Talib and Max Crosby are apparently beefing. That we get into that a little bit. I mean, it's crazy times here in Broncos country, and Phil McLaughlin circling back around. Do you guys think a 10-3 win is more telling than a 28-21 win? That's an interesting question, Phil. I'm not sure I've ever thought about more telling. Man, Tom, I'll let you take this one. Do you think a 10-3 win is more telling than a 28-21 win?
I think it tells you more about your defense. If you can hold the Kansas City Chiefs to 3 points, then your defense is legitimately a Super Bowl contending defense. I mean, if they can do a 3-point, they can hold them 3 points on Sunday. I think the Broncos defense can take them to the title, carry them to the title, versus a 28-21 win. That means that the Broncos were pretty efficient and not as great on defense. And you got to kind of shrug your shoulders.
Yeah. 46 sacks isn't a mistake in 10 games. It does make you wonder where that sack total is going to be after this game, right? I mean, aren't you aiming for Pat Mahomes when you design this pass rush? That's who it's for. When you draft a Pat Surtain, that's who it's for. You build this secondary, a Talanoa Hufanga, you bring him in, Brandon Jones a couple years ago. This is why, because you're combating arguably one of the best quarterbacks that we've ever seen play the game. this defense as a whole, ranked third in yards per game at 270.7. The 6 sacks against the Raiders. I don't know about you, Tom. I actually felt a little bad for Geno Smith towards the end of the game. I mean, to see a quarterback take that kind of a beating and just limping on and off of the field, it was brutal, man. Dare I say the Broncos broke Geno Smith's soul, at least his football soul last Thursday night, because that was brutal. But how do you replicate that against the Chiefs, man? I mean, you look at the Raiders offensive line, it's not terribly different. Vulnerabilities, different spots than where the Chiefs are at, but they can get there. And I think Vance Joseph is going to have a very good game, maybe quite possibly the game of his life, calling defense against Kansas City. But I got to be honest, Tom, I'm pissed. I'm pissed that the Broncos are 3.5 home underdogs. That shouldn't happen. I don't know why that bothers me so much. I just got done telling you the national media doesn't bother me, and then the sports bet books bother me. Listing the Broncos as a home underdog, 3.5 points. What does it mean? Well, you can read about it over at milehighhuddle.com. I just don't get it, Tom. I know, bad Thursday night football. But again, the Chiefs are 1-3 in road games. They started 0-2. They're coming off of a loss and a bye, 28-21 to the Bills. It's not like this is the same juggernaut Kansas City Chiefs team that we're accustomed to seeing.
Well, one is injuries. I mean, obviously you've got Surtain out. You've got J.K. Dobbins probably going to be out. I mean, I think that has a little bit to do with it, not just the fact that they kind of put up a stinker on Thursday night and came out with a barely winning against a losing team. But for some reason, people are super high on the Chiefs, even though they're barely over 500. They are, for some reason, they're still the best team in the NFL. And I don't know why people are thinking that. I don't think they're anything close to what they were last year or the year before that, but they're living on reputation, and they don't think the Broncos don't have one because they haven't won anything. So that's part of it. But I think injuries play. I think if they were full strength, I don't think they'd be underdogs. I think if Surtain was out there, Dobbins was going to be out there, I think that line would be different.
Yeah, no more trick plays. I'm with Bucci. I love the trick plays, but Sean Payton needs to play some Madden. Yeah, no more trick plays until we can operate a basic offense, folks. I was so upset on Thursday night watching some of this stuff. And to the fans that are booing, good for you. I'm where you fall on that, Tom. You think folks should be able to boo at games? Because I know some people, you've got like what I call the boo police, right? They're like, you can't boo. You're not a Broncos fan if you boo them. No, you spend your hard-earned money, and so long as you're not, popping off with profanity with women and children around you, and you're not just being a complete a-hole. Yeah, boo. Bo talked about it after the game. He's like, hell, I've been booed before. I'm sure I'll be booed again. And that doesn't mean Bo doesn't care. I'm sure he doesn't appreciate that. How do you think his wife feels, right? How do you think his family feels when the offense is getting booed? They're in the trenches with him. They don't like it either. But you know what? This fan base doesn't like this offense, Tom. You want to stop the boo birds. It's real simple. Get into the end zone, and that place will go unglued on Sunday.
Yeah. The Broncos fans pay to be there. They pay to watch a quality team, and pay to watch a quality offense. And if they're not getting their money's worth, heck yeah, let them boo. I mean, that's the nature of this game. You got to go out there and perform. And if you're not, then you're going to have the repercussions of your customer, which is the fans. So if they don't like it, let them boo. I don't care. I mean, I booed before. I don't do it a lot, but I do boo if they deserve it. And that's
you heard it first, an MHI exclusive.
So that's what's been happening
before, and he's gonna boo again. That's where we're at with it. No, it's this is a rest. It's getting late early, folks. I mean, we're in November here, and I know we're just trying to get to the bye, but you really want to sit with a bye week and some time off and your feet up on the couch in the training room and have to regurgitate this Chiefs loss and have to plan for your revenge in late December, I think is the next time they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Just looking at, the second to last game, week 17 is the Kansas City. I mean, no, you have to come out, and it's going to be a fight. I do. I think this is going to be I'm not going to say a high scoring contest. I think you're going to see a mid-level contest, maybe something like 24, 27, something along those lines. Our guy, who was it that said 32 points? I'm going to have to get the 32 points in at some point this week. because that's just a score you usually don't see. Let's start to wrap things up, kind of get our final segment in, if you will. We're reacting to the injury report today. In case you missed it, extra, read all about it. Lil Jordan Humphrey is officially a Denver Bronco again. Sean Payton went into New Jersey and saved him from the disaster that is the New York Giants. Poached him off of the practice squad. He is likely to play this Sunday. He's on the 53-man roster. For those of you that don't remember, Lil Jordan Humphrey, that's okay. I got your back. 44 receptions, 445 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns, and 34 appearances. The connection, obviously, Sean Payton with the New Orleans Saints. Lil Jordan Humphrey has been here in Denver. His agent said it felt good to return home, if you will. And one can only refer to home as Sean Payton. Lil Jordan Humphrey knows what Sean Payton wants from him, wants from this receiving crew. And it was a result of Trent Sherfield, we think, landing on the injury report today. Did not practice, the wide receiver with a toe. Alex Singleton, he didn't practice. Illness, obviously, coming off of that cancer surgery. Pat Surtain, we know he's not going to be in there. Jonah Ellis didn't practice, fighting a hamstring injury, but another big one. J.K. Dobbins. What's this running attack going to look like without J.K., who's been pretty much the dominant dog on the ground? Remember, Quadzilla, all these plays that R.J. Harvey's been making as a rookie second-round running back, it's been primarily as a pass catcher. We're going to get to see what R.J. Harvey, the runner, looks like this Sunday. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I am too, because it's time to see what he can do. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, I would have swore that they were going to put more the carries with R.J. Harvey and kind of save J.K. Dobbins. But unfortunately, R.J. Harvey wasn't taking that next step quick enough, and Dobbins was just too good to not give him the carries. But now here he is hurt, and his status is up in the air. But yeah, R.J. Harvey's going to have to carry the load. And I'm anxious to see now that he has to, how is he going to respond? I think he will respond well. I think you're going to see a pretty good running game from R.J. Harvey.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because as it sits, the Broncos have the 9th ranked rushing attack. You wouldn't know it because Sean's been very sparingly with his runs. 128.6 yards per game, a team average of 4.8 yards per carry. I'll take you through a little bit of the run game and what I believe the fix is for Bo and Sean and my keys to victory. Tom's got an article coming out here in just a little bit as we start to get some of our final supers in. Lawrence, man, it's great to see you, Larry. Thank you so much for all your support. I hope you and the kids are doing well. Offense and defense are like oil and water mixing, in my opinion. Look at how Sean and Vance fight to not lose the game, to be able to tell boss it's not my fault. Yeah, you know what, though, Larry? Like, look at your profession, man. Sometimes that's how men speak to each other. I'm not right, wrong, or indifferent, man. Sometimes we get after it, Tom. We yell at each other every Wednesday night on this show, and it's never personal. We're good with it. We're friends at the end of it. And while I'm not speculating on the personal relationship between Sean Payton and Vance Joseph, I do understand, and I'm upset. I don't like seeing that either, Larry. It's a bad look, right? When Coach Sean Payton's continually getting after Vance Joseph and VJ's defense is carrying the water. I'm with you, Larry. It's a bad look. I'm a Sean Payton guy. I'm all in on Bo Nix, but I can't excuse that. Coach going to do what Coach's going to do, though. I mean, the boss be the boss. And Craig, the Walton Penner ownership group, they're not looking at a power struggle. They've given Sean full access to run this team the way he sees fit. If that means Vance Joseph is getting screamed at on Sundays, well, he signed up for it, and he should be grateful that Sean gave him another job.
Yeah, and Vance Joseph has been saving his bacon, actually. I mean, I have been very impressed with Vance Joseph. I was out on him. I did not want him anywhere near this team, and he has changed my perspective of him completely. He calls a great game, and this is the season that has got him a head coaching job. He's got a head coaching job waiting for him as soon as this season is over, and I'll stand by that. He is completely different. He's a completely different play caller. He's completely different in game, which is where I said he faltered the most. So Sean and Vance can fight all they want, but Vance Joseph has saved Sean's bacon this season more than once with that great defense, because if it wasn't for them, they would not be 8-2, and I don't think they'd be really that close to 8-2.
Well, and sometimes that's healthy, all right? How many times do I come on this show on a weekly basis and I'm like, is there anybody to push back against Sean? There's one off the top of my head. Vance doesn't just sit there and get screamed at. I've seen Vance give it right back to Sean. Now he's not screaming at him, but he's kind of rolling his eyes with the, I got it, back off kind of a thing. And you know what? Sean needs that too. We all need that. We're all heated in the moment of things, and sometimes you can't communicate. You've got a very short time that you can communicate in between plays. Sean's got that. Can you imagine that, by the way? Like, I know we all think we'd be better coaches, but trying to manage the headset, the game responsibilities, a coaching staff, a player staff. I mean, there's one guy that's pushing back against Sean Payton. Can someone else do that on the offense that's not Bo Nix, right? Do we need to get the big uglies in there? Does Quinn Miners need to go marching up to Sean's office saying, Coach, I love you, but we got to run the ball. We got to get after this Chiefs defense here. We can do this. I mean, does somebody need to remind Coach in real time? Because Bo's having a tough time. Sean's having a tough time. Maybe a little outside perspective would do the boys some good. And speaking of outside perspective, our guy, Michael Ronquillo, fresh and hot out of Arizona, $5 super, an exclusive member on YouTube as we start to wrap up MHI. Former defensive back Asante Samuel Jr. took a shot at Bo Nix. Is that right? I didn't see that. Last I checked, Asante Samuel Jr. wasn't on a team. Did he get picked up this week and all of a sudden he's taking shots? QB1?
It's Asante Samuel Sr. He's retired. Junior is back from the injury. This is senior. Apparently, I didn't hear the shot that he took, but I will say this. Bo Nix has not been playing well, so that gives these analysts an opportunity to take shots, and they will take them as much as they can until Bo Nix goes out and proves them wrong. And so far this season, he has not. He has been marginally better than last year, his first year in the league. If you look at everything that he's done, marginally better when they needed him to take a fairly significant step ahead to get this team where they want to go, which is a championship.
So apparently, Scott's in my ear showing me, apparently Asante Samuel Sr. is saying that Sean Payton is starting to realize Bo Nix isn't the guy.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I mean, like, you think Sean did all that work on Bo to just roll over on him in 1.5 seasons? It's not going to happen. And you know what? Teach their own. I appreciate the man for explaining his opinion because it's probably not a popular opinion. Maybe it is a popular opinion. But call it. Call your shot and see what happens. I mean, that's the beauty of sports here. What I do love about Bo, and I'll say this, I don't think Bo cares. I really believe him. He's not going to go up there and say, I don't care what they say, because it's careless, it's irresponsible, and it's not who Bo is. But when Bo's like, I deleted my social media after we went to Florida and Auburn. He said that this year. So like when you see Bo on Instagram, it's not Bo. All right. It's probably an agent. It's probably a friend, a family member, somebody else. Maybe it is Bo, but I believe it because Bo said today into the microphone, Tom, it was great. He's like, all that national stuff and all the social media, I don't see it and I really don't hear it. And he looked at the media in the eyes and he's like, no one's ever bold enough to say it to your face either. And I thought, bingo, there's a grown man saying, I could give a rip what the trolls say on Twitter. We're on a 7-game winning streak. We're 8-2. We've got the lead in the AFC West. We've got a 92% chance to make the playoffs, and we haven't even scratched the surface. That's what keeps us coming back for more here in Broncos country, despite the penalties, despite the punts, despite the defense continually, as you said, Tom, saving Sean Payton's bacon. Bo Nix in this offense, they won't go away.
Well, and let's remember, it's only his second year. Like, people are expecting Bo Nix to all of a sudden be this, second coming of Peyton Manning or whatever they are expecting. He's still learning the NFL game, dealing with this inefficiencies, dealing with this execution problems they don't have any stars at the wideout. They don't have anyone that scares the defense. I think J.K. Dobbins has helped if Sean Payton would lean on the running games a little bit more. But, I mean, you got to give him a little bit more of a chance. You can't be washing your hands of Bo Nix already. He has played, 29 games, something like. I mean, I don't even remember. I guess I'm not doing the math in my head right now, but he hasn't played that many games. You need to give him a better shot. Let's see how he goes into the playoffs, see what he does. Let's see how he comes out next year. If he does not improve next year, if you can see that there's very little improvement, okay, he's hit his ceiling. Maybe Sean Payton will start to think about, okay, who's his replacement?
Well, and yeah, exactly. You've got to constantly be looking to get better. And just because I do think that Bo's the franchise quarterback, I do. That
Yep.
doesn't mean that you shouldn't bring competition in. That doesn't mean that you should continue to add and make your team better. But yeah, Tom, as you were saying that, I start thinking, what offensive playmaker for the Broncos is making a Pro Bowl this year or All Pro honors? None. You're probably looking at Quinn Miners as a Pro Bowl All Pro, right, on the offensive line, and that's while that's nice. And while that helps your offense, we need more firepower. And once talent starts hooking up, and I'm not saying it's going to be a little Jordan Humphrey this weekend, but maybe it's Marvin Mims, right?
Yep.
Marvin Mims making a big return right when we need him. And Phil McLaughlin, since Bo is auditioning for Dancing with the Stars, what? Is it possible that starting with a hurry-up offense might help Bo? I didn't hear that. Is this a joke? Is Phil trolling me here?
I think it's a joke. I don't think he is.
I don't see Bo Nix, leaving his pregnant wife when the Broncos are 8-2 to go dancing. Good job, Phil. You got me. You got me in that aha moment. No, this team has character, and I don't think the team's given up on Bo either, Tom. I think that would be really easy. We've seen what it looks like when a defense comes out and they're like, man, this offense is ass. Like Akeem Talib used to do that all the time, right? With Trevor Siemian and all the other slappy quarterbacks. Chris Harris Jr. would do it. Derek Wolfe would get after the guy. I mean, so you're not seeing that. You've got a united front if you're the Broncos, and it's something I absolutely love. Guys, final 2-minute warning to get in your hot takes. We will have our official predictions. Tom, I got to save it. I got to save my prediction because this is the most important game of the season. Not just because it's the next one. We've all been waiting for the Chiefs to come to Denver, right? You lose an Arrowhead, it's going to be tough. Broncos almost did it, right? That can be expected this season. Undefeated at home amid a massive winning streak. Man, the expectations are there. You're starting to set the board up. This is a huge game. I don't know where I'm going to go with it, Tom. I don't know if I'm picking Broncos Chiefs yet. I got to wait. Maybe you've got your prediction ready to go. No. My 3 keys to victories are coming out at milehighhuddle.com. Maybe you'll read them tomorrow and you'll feel a lot better. I know you've got articles cooking up that should be released any minute at milehighhuddle.com. But for me, the playoffs start Sunday. I'm not going to say it's a must-win game, but it's a measuring stick. It's a huge measuring stick. And there's either going to be hints at changing of the guard, or it's business as usual for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, like I said at the start of the show, if the Broncos can win this game, that puts the Chiefs out of competition for the AFC West title and may even put them out of the playoff race. I'm not sure about that second one yet. But so this is a huge game. If the Broncos want to make a statement and bury their most successful rival in their own division, this is the game to do it. Don't wait and try and do it in Arrowhead in December, which is notoriously hard to play December in Arrowhead. Do it now. If you are a team with a killer instinct, this is when you go for the juggler, you take down your this Chiefs team and you put them away and you say, we're not looking back.
Well, on the way out, this is a good question. If we're not going to give predictions, who will be player of the game in your opinion? I've got one for you because I think he's transcended every single year that he's played. He's an absolute animal. I don't know how this guy can be so big and have the cardio that he has. To me, Tom, this is an unpopular opinion. Zach Allen is better than Chris Jones right now. As it sits today, November 12th, Zach Allen played one of his best career games against the Raiders last week. He's on an absolute tear. I want Zach Allen and Nick Bonito and those 4 horsemen on the D-line for Denver to get after it. Vulnerable Kansas City offensive line. You've got a rookie left tackle. You've got a second-year left guard. Go get them. Pin your ears back and go get them. It's going to be because of the defense that the Broncos win this game. Doesn't mean that the offense doesn't contribute.
Yep. I'm going Nick Bonito only because I was going with Allen, and I'm not changing just because you did. I think Nick Bonito is a game wrecker. He was on Thursday night. I think Allen had a great game as well, but I think the Chiefs realize that they're vulnerable up the middle. They're going to put a little more emphasis trying to stop Zach Allen, and that's going to open it up for Nick Bonito. Pick your poison.
Well, remember who else had happy feet? I'm so sick of hearing about Bo's happy feet, but then again, if he'd calm down and step into a throw, we wouldn't have to talk about it. Remember Josh Allen? Or Josh Allen, like, oh, well, Josh Allen's either going to run or if he's in the pocket, he has happy feet. How's that working out? I'm not saying that Bo is Josh Allen. They're two totally different football players and quarterbacks. What I'm saying is that it takes time for quarterbacks to develop in the pocket. Bo talked about it today. Yeah, I can get out there and run, but sometimes that's putting our offensive line in harm's way. Yeah, I can get out there and try to extend the play a little bit, but am I going to get one of my receivers killed? I mean, these are things that our quarterback, your quarterback is considering. Gene coming in, man. Me and Ralph Bracegirdle will have the Broncos winning in a hell of a game. Denver Broncos for life. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and this show was a lot of fun, guys. We really, really appreciate it. We're up against it, guys. Tom, you've got an article coming out, right? Want to plug that? Should be published any minute at milehighhuddle.com.
Yeah, it's just comparing just how much better, if any, they are from last year to this year. That's looking at taking a little bit closer look with a magnifying glass on their record and their defense and Bo Nix, and just to kind of shed some light on, are they gonna be one and done, or are they gonna go deeper in the playoffs this year?
An interesting read. Stay tuned for that. I've got my keys to victory coming out tomorrow morning. And then don't forget, we've got our staff Mile High Roundtable where we pick them on Friday morning. And you can read all about those articles on milehighhuddle.com. Speaking of milehighhuddle.com, Chad's got an article up right now. You want to know who came back today? Lil Jordan Humphrey. Broncos also inked offensive tackle Garen Christian this week on Monday from the Cowboys practice squad. J.K. Dobbins looks like he's going to be out with a foot injury. Enter R.J. Harvey for his first start. Lil Jordan Humphrey also came back from the Giants practice squad. He is likely to play on Sunday, officially on the 53-man roster, with Trent Sherfield dealing with a toe injury. Should be a lot of fun. It's been a busy week in Broncos country. One can only imagine what tomorrow's going to bring on Thursday, Tom, because it's been so busy for Denver, but another fun show, man. I love it.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you. It's been fun. I'm looking forward to this Sunday. I mean, this is one of those games where the Broncos can do a lot. They can set themselves up for more success and prove that they're a legitimate team. So I'm excited. I can't wait for Sunday and see how this shakes out.
If you'd like to reach out to Tom on X, please do so. That's at Thomas Hall NFL. Yours truly at Luke Patterson LP. Don't forget to reach out to Scott at Scout Kennedy, the mothership at Mile High Huddle. Guys, we need to beef this podcast numbers up on X. That's at MHI_pod. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Do not wear red this week. It's Chiefs week. Broncos country. Time to beat Kansas City. This is the way.
This is the way.